And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Salutations, listeners. Welcome into RBLR Bucs. Preseason pleasantries are over. The training camp dust has settled, and the moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. Folks, this isn't a scrimmage. This isn't a practice. After months at anchor, our ship is ready to sail the gridiron seas once more. Ladies and gentlemen, the NFL season has officially returned. We're celebrating all weekend long, starting with a little bit of that Thursday night showdown. But, of course, a big shout out to the rest of our RBLR fleet and a hearty welcome aboard to the newest ship in our harbor, RBLR Bulls. That's right, USF fans. You heard, it's RBLR Bulls. But this is a Buccaneers podcast, and, first of all, we are so happy to join us. Tonight, let's tell you what we got on deck. It's, all about setting the course for the season, talking about our current roster and, who's earned their stripes. And also, we'll be scouting the enemy, looking ahead to our week one opponent, giving you our boldest predictions for the season opener. So that being said, grab your eye patch, your pirate flag, your peg that's been hiding in your closet. All right, and the Bucs are set to pillage, and we're here to break it all down. But I'll say this over and over again, and I'll tell you this. We here genuinely want to hear from you. Seriously, before we get started, hit us up, all right? Even while we're talking, we want to hear from you. Drop your takes in the comments below. You can find us on X, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Blue Sky. We're everywhere, all right? We are your week one hype. So any burning questions you have, your fire, your voice, make this show what it is. Now, introducing the crew, because, this is never a one-man show. Let's introduce the two captains or co-captains of this podcasting ship. First up, he's got the swagger, the arm talent, and the unstoppable confidence that makes you believe anything is possible. He is the Baker Mayfield of the podcast world, ready to sling some serious knowledge bombs. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Zach Blaine. Zach, what's the good word, my friend? Uh-oh. Oh, Baker would never be caught on mute.
Baker would never mute himself like that. I even thought I unmuted it. Darn it. No, man, I'm just glad to be back. You can tell I'm rusty because I haven't been here in like a week and a half. No, just like I said, happy to be back. Baseball season's kicking my butt with these boys, coaching them. So just ready to talk some Bucs football and cannot wait to watch Bucs football this Sunday.
Seriously, I just cannot wait. I mean, I know it's already started with college, but yeah, with the NFL now, it's finally like, it really, really matters. And it just allows you to be like, okay, this is how I feel. And this is why it matters because guess what? It's the regular season now, so, but you already know this is never a full show without, the final puzzle piece of this iconic trio. And, I don't even know what to say other than maybe he's an absolute workhorse. He is the guy who puts his head down and delivers, breaking through tackles and making defenders miss. He is the Bucky Irving of this show, ready to grind out the tough takes and deliver a powerful performance. Mr. Carter Brentley, how are you tonight?
Doing well. We just recorded that USF show earlier today, Mr. Tariq.
Yes, sir.
So definitely keep your ears out for that, listeners. We had a good time, and we're going to keep coming with that show. But obviously, we're here for the Bucs, and it's been an exciting week. It's the week leading up to first game, and the Bucs have already had some kind of big news today. Or was it yesterday? I think it was today. We're coming at you on Wednesday, September 3rd, and Luka Decky signed a 4-year extension, $90 million. Good for the third highest paid right tackle in the NFL. It's it's an extension, and it's super exciting because he was one of the pending free agents for after this offseason. And I think he was probably the most important one. And I was really happy to hear this. I don't know how y'all were feeling, but as soon as I read that news, I was like, hey, big thumbs up, because now they have Wirfs, they have Gadecki. Those are two really good tackles to have for the next 4 years. Obviously, hopefully Baker is the quarterback. That would be wonderful, but it definitely eases a little bit of that burden because, you see it across the NFL. You have 2 bookend tackles. You have a decent wide receiver room. It makes being a quarterback a good bit easier.
A lot more simple.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the game plan doesn't have to be, hey, let's run a bunch of boots away from the weak side of our offensive line. It's more of like, oh, hey, we can actually run an NFL offense. So I was really excited to see this deal get done. Mr. Blaine, how did you feel? You're the big Baker fan, so I'm sure you're excited to get Baker some protection. He's going to just continue to be solid back there. So what were your thoughts on this extension?
Yeah, no, a great extension. It was more than I was expecting him to get. I'll be honest with you. I do think he's a very good right tackle, but I remember not long ago we were all calling for him to be cut from the team because
Right.
What position was he playing before?
Left
He played
guard.
Yeah, and he was awful.
He was awful. Yeah.
And I think that it may have even been me that was like, well, it wasn't the position he played in college, but I didn't expect him to come out and play very, very good at right tackle where he did play in college. And apparently there is a big difference because he came out since he made that switch to right tackle and has been, I would say, a top 5 right tackle in the league.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I don't think that it's bad money. I'm just saying it's more than what I was expecting because we did see that 1 or 2 years of not very good play.
Yeah, and there's definitely an injury concern with Gadecki.
Yes.
With the concussion stuff. But it does seem like the Guardian cap, he seems to not be hard-headed about it. Good for him. He seems to be adjusting to that, and that seems to have helped quite a bit, which is great. Because if he can stay healthy, like health has been the main concern the past few seasons with him. And other than that, like his level of play has been stellar. Like he's been a very solid part of this offensive line. So I am with you. I was a bit surprised at the money, but at the same time, 3rd highest paid right tackle seems about right for a guy like that. Especially nowadays, like whenever a guy is a pending free agent, they're just always going to reset the market if they're really good at their position. So that's just kind of the nature of it. But I do feel you. It was a bit high, but at the same time, like I'd rather him be in a Bucs uniform. So,
and I do think that he's worth that money. Like
yes,
I feel like saying it was a bit high. I don't mean that in like oh, he sucks, like he shouldn't be making that much money. I do think he's worth that much money. It's just more than I was expecting, I should say.
No, for sure. I totally I get you. I was picking up what you were putting down. But Mr. Tariq, how about you? What were your thoughts on this extension when you read it? Were you kind of surprised that they got it done at this point of the season?
No, I wasn't. I was pretty impressed, and I guess I mean, the numbers are. It's a quite hefty number, but first thought was hey man, let's get these big dogs paid, and I feel like credit goes to Jason Light, getting those kind of the homegrown trench talent out there, but I'd probably say honestly getting it done before week 1 probably kind of avoids that like that bidding war if he is to have another strong season. So it's also kind of a even just a statement of confidence with the Buccaneers organization paying a guy this much. And I mean you have to especially with Baker at quarterback now pairing it up with him and Wirfs on each side. So I think it's well deserved, and if anything I'm excited to know that we got this guy for another 4 years.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wanted to throw it right back at you, Musab, about the financial aspect of it. The 3rd highest paid right tackle in the NFL. Does that seem about right to you? Maybe a little bit high. Maybe you think of him as being like a top 1 or 2 right tackle. So maybe it's, I don't want to call it a discount, but maybe it's a bit of a discount. What were your thoughts on how much money he got?
No, I think it's totally makes sense. With everything, with all these guys getting paid now more than ever, I mean, it's just going to get higher and higher. So, putting it behind, Sewell and Lane Johnson, I think that makes sense to me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, Sewell and Lane Johnson are sort of almost in a league of their own in regards to this position, I think. And, Luke Gadecki can sort of bring up him. And I think the Packers have a guy, Cameron Tom, I believe his name is, who's really good. Please forgive me if I just got that name wrong, but the Packers right tackle, I think, was originally the 3rd highest paid right tackle or something like that. But yeah, I was excited to see them get this deal done and, just get this through because like you said, Musab, the price only going to get higher. especially if, like you said, if he went out and had a really solid year, which I think we're all in agreement that he can. If he stays on the field, like that's sort of the only thing that would prevent him from doing so. And I think he can go out there and have another really solid season. And now it's like no pressure, man. Like you're just going out there and playing some football. So I was pretty excited. How important do y'all think it is? Because I know we've been talking about Wirfs as well. Zach, I'll throw this question at you. I mean, how important is it to have like two good starting tackles under contract for the near future? Because I mean, him and Wirfs were kind of going back and forth and talking about it, and oh yeah, we want to play together for a decade. So how important is that camaraderie and having the two bookends, as they say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's huge. I think that anytime there is a situation like on the offensive line where that is one unit, because I'm always a stickler on like I do think you need to bring outside guys in order to enhance the ability of your team. But when it comes to a unit like that, like I do think that as far as the offensive line goes, those two bookends, and I know that they're the end of the line, so it's kind of an easy comparison, but those two guys hold everything together. Like those are your two of the biggest things that keep a good offense going. And I think that if you can have continuity with that, then it's going to lead to your offense being better and playing at a higher level.
Yeah, totally agree, man. Yeah, totally agree. I think that, I mean, other than the quarterback position, obviously, and maybe even having like a star wide receiver or two, I do think having bookend offensive tackles is probably one of the most important things a team can have in general, other than maybe, a good pass rush and stuff like that. But it is it's a huge priority for teams. And there's a reason why the Bucs have invested so heavily with giving Wirfs and now Gadecki these two contract extensions. It's a big deal. And it was really important, and I was really excited to get it done. Musab, any closing thoughts on Luke Gadecki's contract? Like, how important is it for you that the Bucs have Wirfs and Gadecki for the next 3 or 4 seasons?
I think it's very important, especially, I mean, being in the prime of, Baker Mayfield's contract,
Right.
Baker contracts. But no, I mean, look, it's, having a lead pass rush can really change the game. And I'm talking about our opponents, but to have someone like Gadecki and Wirfs to be able to both kind of, help out our offensive line and protect Baker, I mean, it's just going to do nothing but help us and just kind of just push us forward, if anything. So I just have to say, I feel like, this was the Buccaneers saying that, the last year, Luke Gadecki's performance wasn't a fluke, and they're confident that, he'll run it back again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you look around the NFL and a lot of successful teams sort of are built that way, right? They're built from the front back. So they build in the trenches. Like we were talking about on the Bulls podcast, like how important that battle of the line of scrimmage is. That's not really different at the NFL level. If you're dominating at the line of scrimmage, you can win a lot of football games, even if you don't necessarily have the most elite skill position players, or maybe you're a little bit weaker on the back lines and in your secondary. If you have a really strong front seven, then you can maybe get away with a little bit less or a little bit more, but especially on the offensive tackle side, it's really awesome to see them lock up this position. They're sort of like, you look at the Eagles, you look at the Vikings, look at the Lions, those 3 teams specifically, they have really good offensive tackles, and then the rest of their offense sort of falls into line because of it. I was really excited to see this deal get done, and hopefully Gadecki just takes it as kind of a, like you said, Musab, a vote of confidence, and the Bucs can kind of run with this and have a really great season. That would be it's a good start to the year for sure already, and they haven't even played a game. So, some exciting stuff. And if you're looking for a Luke Gadecki type extension of your wardrobe, if you're looking at your clothing options and you're like, man, I could use some different stuff, I could use some fresh stuff, look at Mr. Musab Tariq. He's
you already know I'm doubling down today.
Oh my goodness! Look at him doubling down. Wow, what a monster!
I rep the OG RBLR, and I got the Dream Team, and
yes, sir.
Mike Evans with the alarm clock.
Right, for sure, representing all the eras of Tampa Bay sports. Absolutely. So head to shop.rblrsports.com so you can be like Musab Tariq, because we should all be more like Musab Tariq. We'll give you a promo code to celebrate the start of the season. Cannon, CANNONS. Type it in, get 10% off your entire order. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, so now we'll focus on the Falcons. That's their for week 1 matchup. For better or for worse, they're starting with a division matchup. It's always tough with these week 1 games. Like it's, with the preseason being reduced to 3 games, I feel like, starters don't really play nearly as much, if at all. So it's kind of an awkward kind of like almost like week 4 of the preseason sort of, but not really because this game counts. So it's kind of awkward, but it's an important, it's an important game. It's a divisional game against probably the second best team in the NFC South. So I wanted to get y'all's initial thoughts on most important position, the quarterback position. Michael Penix Jr., local guy, Tampa guy from Dade City. So Zach, I know you're a big Michael Penix guy, so I wanted to hear your thoughts on Michael Penix and sort of his outlook for the 2025-2026 season.
I mean, it really hurts to say that I am a Penix guy because he plays on Atlanta.
Right.
But the whole draft process, I was pretty sold that he was going to be the best quarterback in the draft. Yeah, I mean, I think he's an up-and-coming quarterback. I don't think he's going to have a perfect 2025. This is his first full year starting. He started, 3 games last year? In those 3 games, he had the most air yards per attempt, which was 10.1 yards. I think he's going to be very, very good. I hope it takes some time for him to get into that because I don't want to be really, really good week 1.
Sure.
But I believe we played him. We played one of the 3 games that he started, didn't we?
I think so. My memory's so shot. I can't.
Yeah, I can't remember for sure because I was going to go back to Tampa's defense is really bad against quarterbacks making their first start against them. So, I'm hoping we've already played him, but I do think that we are going to be a fun team for him to start his season against. So for the whole season, for his whole outlook, I think he's going to have a really good season. I think he'll be a top 10, statistically a top 10 guy, maybe top 15, top 10. Thinking about it now might be a little high, but he'll be towards the top half of the league in statistics. But I don't think that his team is set up to make a good run at anything.
Yeah. And the good news is if you want to play some narrative ball here, the Bucs faced Jaden Daniels last year, week 1, and they won. So,
that's a good point. That's a good argument there.
Yeah, maybe, there's the correlation there. I'm really stretching to find the point there.
But I like it, though.
For sure. I'm stretching for the optimism. But, yeah, I'm excited for Michael Penix as well. I think he'll have a solid season. But like you said, just first full year starting. There's the Falcons of it all, who Lord knows what they like to do with their organization. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. Just like you said, maybe not against the Bucs, hopefully.
Yeah, right, exactly. I want him to have 2 bad games. The rest, he can be a great player. Just because I said he was going to be the best quarterback.
Right. Hey, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. Yeah, I'm excited because he's a local guy, and it's hard not to root for the local Tampa guys. But Musab, how about you, man? What are your thoughts on Michael Penix? Do you think he has? Maybe you're a little bit less excited for him, or maybe you're just as high on Penix as we are.
No, I'm high on him. I mean, I got respect for him, but I mean, it's definitely not going to be easy. Yeah, first kind of full season start, and I mean, it's week 1, so I mean, there's nothing we know, nothing that they know about us. But I have to say, the only thing though is, I mean, it just kind of, we've only seen him just for a little bit, and the thing is, he did thrive against, weaker defenses, but, we're not a weak defense. Hopefully we won't be again this year, but it's a little bit of it's kind of an unknown, with Michael Penix, and that's more of it's dangerous, but it's also an opportunity for us, to take advantage of that. And, I have to say, more importantly, on top of his kind of limited NFL sample, now missing his blindside protector, so
yeah,
there's that as well. That's going to play a factor, and as to how he plays. So yeah,
absolutely. I did want to mention that. Yeah, like you said, Caleb McGarry, their right tackle, the blindside since he's left-handed. He's out for the year. So it's tough. And then Darnell Mooney, the number 2 wide receiver. I know they've got Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. So they do have a plethora of other weapons, but Mooney was pretty good last year. He had a decent season. And, you start dipping into that wide receiver depth. They don't have the wide receiver room that the Bucs do, So it's kind of tough. So, Zach, I wanted to hear your thoughts on them missing McGeary and potentially Darnell Mooney being out. How does this affect that Falcons offense?
I think Mooney is bigger than McGarry, if I'm being honest with you.
Really? Okay.
Because I think that now you can essentially – obviously Bijan is the heartbeat of that offense, not taking that away from him. But as far as your receivers go, now Kadarius Hodges is going to be their backup. Like, right. I'm not worried about Kadarius Hodges. I'm worried about Drake London and Darnell Mooney. And if we can put more focus on Drake London with Mooney out, then that kind of negates him from the game plan, which now you got Bijan and whatever other backup. Who else they got? David Sills the fifth. Like, I'm not stressing anybody else on Atlanta. So I do think that McGarry being out the whole year is kind of a bad thing for them, because I've never heard of Michael Jarrell in my life.
Right.
So I think it's going to be interesting. We'll see how he plays against us. And a few weeks in, I wouldn't be shocked to see them make a trade or a position change at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I don't blame. Yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable train of thought for sure. It's tough though, because McGeary isn't bad, and like he's not Tristan Wirfs. I'm not comparing him to that, but it is essentially the Bucs missing Tristan Wirfs for a whole year, because it's it sort of gets flipped. But yeah, I agree with you though. For one game, Mooney definitely has a bigger impact missing than McGeary. So it'll be interesting to see how that storyline develops. But you brought up Drake London, and I thought that was a good shout. And I wanted to throw this question your way, Musa, because I don't know. When I think of the Falcons, like, Drake London is a very good wide receiver, but I think he might be better than people give him credit for. Maybe. I wanted to hear your thoughts. Is Drake London underrated to you?
I'm not a huge fan of the word underrated for a guy like Drake London. But I will say, if there is any disrespect, I will say that he deserves respect. So I guess maybe that does mean he's underrated. But no, look, he had 1,200 yards, racked up 9 touchdowns. He was about 40% of Penix's targets during his 3 starts. So I mean, he's definitely a reliable threat for Penix. And on top of that, especially with Mooney out, I mean, Mooney is their primary deep speed threat. So, with Tampa now, safety's probably going to play a little bit more aggressively downhill. But now, yeah, London's volume is going to be spiking even higher, if you ask me. So, someone's going to have to step up to the plate. So it's going to be the, Penix, Bijan, London show.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's a great shout with Penix's target share last year, because like you said, Penix is definitely a bit of a deep ball guy, but yeah, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see how that develops, because I agree with you. Like, Drake London is really good. Like, he was top 5 in receiving yards last year. I don't think too many people realize that, but he was a really good wide receiver last year, and he's going to continue to get the ball. So we'll see how that develops. But Zach, what are your thoughts on Drake London? Do you think maybe we're hyping him up too much, or I see you smiling. What do you think?
I think he's overrated.
Really? Wow.
I'll be completely honest with you. I don't think he's a bad receiver, but I think when you are the only receiving weapon not named Bijan Robinson, it makes it a lot easier to put up those numbers. And I don't mean that in a hateful way. I think he'd be a good receiver on other teams, but I think if you brought him to Tampa and put him with Mike Evans, he's not going to put up the numbers that he's putting up in Atlanta. Or you take him to Minnesota and put him with Justin Jefferson, he's not putting up those numbers. Sure. I don't think that he's a bad receiver, and I've never been a huge fan of him, but I don't it's not like I hate that guy. He should be gone. It's just more of I think that everyone was like, he's going to be the next Calvin Johnson, the next Mike Evans. And I don't think that he's on that level or even close. I think he'll be a good receiver in the league for a number of years, but I never expect to hear him as one of the greats. Like, he's not Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase level, and they're all around the same age. So it's like, he's good, but he's not great.
Yeah, I think that's a perfectly fair assessment. But he can be a bit of a forgotten man, because like you said, and he's playing on the Falcons. Like the Falcons.
He flies under the radar with the awful quarterbacks that they have.
Exactly.
So
yeah. That is a big thing. Like he was catching balls from 47-year-old Kirk Cousins last year. You know what I mean?
Mike Evans was catching balls from
for sure.
Ryan.
Well, the thing is, we're not putting him on like Mike's level, though.
No,
but that's what I'm saying is that if you want to look at a quarter or a wide receiver who's underrated, look at Mike Evans. Mike Evans nationally is underrated to us and to Bucs fans. Yes, we know how good he is.
I think Mike Evans is underrated to idiots. I mean, you can't be watching football and not give Mike Evans his flowers after how consistent he's been. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, but I mean that happens a lot.
Up until recently, we've been in the Falcons' shoes, and. I think in order for the Falcons to be where the Bucs are now, Drake London will not be able to put up the numbers he's putting up because I'll have more weapons on offense.
I think that's a very good point. If Drake London continues to put up the target share and all that he has been, I'm with you. I don't think that they're going to be a successful ball club. But I will say, I think we might have reached a point with the Mike Evans conversation where I think he's properly rated now. I get what you're saying, Zach, because there are still trolls. There are still people who hate on him, but that's going to be true of there are people who think that Justin Jefferson's bad because he doesn't have an impact catches or something silly or ridiculous. Like, oh, what's his win-loss record? Like using a win-loss record to judge a wide receiver. Like, good gracious, like get out of here. So that's just going to happen. Like Musab said.
Yeah, I just think that if you were to do a poll, you would be surprised at how many people wouldn't have Mike Evans in the Hall of Fame.
I don't know. If we were talking about this before 2020, I think I would agree with you. Like, I think Mike Evans was on track to be a Hall of Famer at that point, but maybe it wasn't like solidified. Like people would think, oh, well, Mike Evans is pretty good, but he'll never get there. But I think the past 5 years with not only the Super Bowls, but all the playoff appearances and the fact that he's continued to hit that 1,000-yard mark, I do think that he's sort of evolved and moved past. Like, I think he's going to be like remembered sort of as Larry Fitzgerald, like always a very good wide receiver, maybe never quite like the best or anything, but very good for a very long time. And that makes him very comfortably in the Hall of Fame. But you could be right. I could be completely out of depth and speaking out of turn here. But I would like to think that Mike Evans is properly rated. But then again, I might be overestimating the general populace, which, that's a fair point. But I did want to throw, because we're nearing the end of our episode, but we've got 2 more segments left, and we're bringing it back, the over-under segment. This is one of our favorite things. So I'm going to kick us off here. I'll get our over-unders in, and I want to start with Baker Mayfield passing touchdowns. These are my own money lines. I haven't even looked at Vegas, but 2.5 passing touchdowns for Baker Mayfield. Over-under. Zach, I'm throwing it to you first. What you got?
You had to come to me first?
I know. Yeah, I did.
Wait, no, the over. I'm taking the over.
Okay.
3. I think Evans catches 1. I think Bucky catches 1. And I'm going to go Emeka catches 1.
Oh, man, if Emeka catches 1, he might be eating crow. No, I feel you. Yeah, I think he goes over as well. The Falcons secondary, like A.J. Terrell is pretty good. Jesse Bates is pretty good, but they're depending on rookie pass rushers to immediately make a pretty massive impact. That's a tough thing. Even against a backup left tackle, I get it. But yeah, I think Baker has his way with this Falcons defense. I think he's going to have a great game. I think they're going to target the middle a lot because that Falcons linebacking core is still pretty rough.
They're not even starting their rookie edge rushers.
Yeah, exactly. So they're in rough shape. Yeah, I think Baker has a pretty solid day, so I'm going to hit the over as well. But Mr. Treek, how about you? Are you going to be the lone underman in this one, or how you feeling?
No, I can't be. I can't be the lone underman for this. I mean, it's week 1. I think Baker and the boys are going to be coming out. I don't know if I can drop names on who's going to get the touchdowns.
I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw in Mike. Yeah, Mike will definitely get a touchdown, but I mean, anything else can happen, man. Ryan Miller could probably pop in for 1 second, for one play.
Right.
The man just hurt his wrist or something. And next thing you know, Ryan Miller, deep ball, touchdown, So I'm only going to say, no. I'm confident on the over 2.5 passing touchdowns for Baker.
Very nice. I like it. I think we'll
gotta get a score tracker for this.
Right. Yeah, we gotta have
decide that every time we do this, we have a score update.
Right. Yeah, we gotta have a record. All right, so I'll do 2. So the second one, I'm gonna go with Hassan Reddick sacks. Just does he get a sack? Do you think Hassan Reddick gets a sack in his first game as a Buck? Musab, I'll throw this one at you first.
Ooh, will Hassan Reddick get a sack? Man, this one's actually kind of spicy. The only reason why I say that is,
just because of from last year.
Just right. well, just because of the situation, kind of going back with Caleb McGarry going out. I don't think anyone knows anything about Elijah Wilkinson.
Right.
So for that reason, yeah, people like Hassan Reddick, Yaya Diaby, they're going to exploit that. So yeah, I expect Todd Bowles to kind of dial up on the overload blitzes, from Penix's blind side.
Yeah, especially with Penix, he's still a rookie, quote unquote. Like this is only his 4th game starting. So I don't think Hassan Reddick gets a sack this weekend. I do think that the Bucs are able to exploit this Falcons offensive line with them missing McGarry, but I think Yaya, Cansey, and I think Elijah Roberts maybe gets a sack. I am very excited to see him play. I know, Zach, you're shaking your head. I am so excited for Elijah Roberts. He looked so good in the preseason. I know it's the preseason. I know I'm, betting on a guy who's a rookie and was a 5th-round pick, so that's shameful of me. But I don't know. I'm excited for Elijah Roberts. Sue me. What can I say? Big Elijah Roberts head. So, no Hassan Reddick sack, but I think those other 3 guys maybe get involved. I do think they get after Penix at least once or twice. So yeah, that's what I've got. No Hassan Reddick sack. How about you, Zach? You got Hassan Reddick getting a sack? Nope.
No, I agree with you 100%. Outside of the Elijah Roberts stuff, I do think that we're gonna see a few sacks. I don't expect to see any from Hassan Reddick. I wasn't super high on the Reddick signing in the first place. I don't know that he's still got that in him. I think the way he played last year was really bad. I don't think he's going to be that bad, but I'm not expecting a 10-sack season from him. So I'm kind of – I don't think he's going to get off to a hot start. He missed all the voluntary stuff with us, learning the playbook and everything. So I know he's the starter, but I think Yaya has a good shot. Kalijah Cansey has a good shot. And then my third one, I was going to say Servassier Dennis.
Ooh, I love it. Hey, Servassier Dennis, love. Shout out. I hope so. That would be awesome. Seeing Servassier get off to a good start would just be such a galvanizing thing for this defense. Because man, that linebacker 2 spot. I mean, we've talked about it endlessly, just how bad it was last year. So Dennis being able to solidify that would be really fun. And hey, getting a sack in his first game, that'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, I hope that's true as well. So those are our over-unders. Now let's get some predictions in. Zach, I'll throw this one right back at you. Who you got winning? What's final score?
I've got 28-10 Tampa.
Wow. Trouncing. Okay. I like it. Musab, how about yourself?
Ooh, I'm going 24-17 Buccaneers win. I think, they grinded out a divisional win. Tampa controls the clock, forcing Penix into a lot of 3rd and longs, attacking his blind side. I mean, I think the Falcons will still be able to cook up a couple things here and there, but in the end, I feel like our defense will be able to hold it down and get us that win.
All right. I'm tempted to be the lone negative Nancy, but I can't do it. Not week 1. I want to get started on the right foot. But I'm going to go 28-24. I think the Bucs take it. But I do think it's a close game because it's week 1. Everyone's still kind of figuring some stuff out. These games are so weird. You can't really take too much from this. People have been freaking out over the college football week 1. Archie Manning looked awful. I get it, but good gracious, can we chill? Like it's okay.
It was against an NFL defensive coordinator. Like that,
I get you. Yeah,
that blows my mind. Everyone giving him so much crap.
I know, and it's very silly. But regardless, I'm sure that'll happen with the Bucs too. I'm sure Baker might have an interception, or maybe Bucky has a fumble, or there's some weird struggle, and then everyone points at it and says, "Oh, the Bucs season's over. Look at this. Look at how they struggle." Like, okay. I'm not excited for that. That part of football season I am not excited for. But everything else should be a lot of fun. So you've heard our predictions. You've heard all that. So hopefully we are all right. Hopefully the Bucs are taking home a victory. But regardless, we will be back next week. We really appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit that like and subscribe button if you like what you heard and you want to keep hearing from us. You can also give us a follow at RBLR Sports or at RBLR Bucs. Definitely check us out there. Thank you to my two wonderful co-hosts, Musab Tariq and Zach Blaine, for making my life incredibly easy. We will see y'all next week. But as always, go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.